A new age has begun. It's time to start anticipating another Narnia film. At this stage, we don't know if there is going to be another Narnia film, but we know that if they do make another one, it's going to be The Magician's Nephew, not The Silver Chair, as a lot of us expected initially. So it's time to move on to another stage. Maybe I shouldn't say that because the Dawn Treader DVD hasn't come out yet, but I'm not planning on getting the Dawn Treader DVD. So I guess for me it's over. I spent the last something like 15 videos or something talking about Voyage of the Dawn Treader, and kind of missed out on a lot of the discussion on this channel, at least as far as Dawn Treader's box office and what they were going to do. I am going to include a link in this video description to an opinion piece I wrote for Narnia Web, where I was just speculating about, is there going to be another Narnia movie? And ironically enough, I posted that, and then very shortly after that same day saw, oh, they've looks like it's going to be the Magician's Nephew. Rumor came online, and now it's much more concrete. Now they are going to make the Magician's Nephew. If they make another one, that's the one they're going to make. They might not make any more, but if they do, it'll be the Magician's Nephew. So first off, I want to talk about some of Micheal Flaherty's comments. Basically, here's how I first heard about them. I got a text message on my phone saying, "Oh, Micheal Flaherty, he's the president of all the media. Micheal Flaherty gives reason why they're going to make The Magician's Nephew next instead of The Silver Chair." And my thought was, "Oh boy, I can't wait to see what BS he comes up with." Because I'm assuming it's going to be some kind of public relations answer where he'll try to make it seem like it's a creative decision, it's a storytelling decision, not the financial decision we all know it to really be. I thought he might say something like, "Oh, C.S. Lewis, of course, he always wanted The Magician's Nephew right after Voyage of the Dawn Treader," or something like that. Make it seem like that they're doing this because they think it's the best storytelling decision. To my surprise, he didn't do that. He just came out and said, "Yep, we're doing this for money, and that's why we're doing it." I was kind of surprised about that. So my thoughts on this, I think I'm not going to talk about The Magician's Nephew as much in this video as I am about how the decision to make The Magician's Nephew next is reflective of the most fundamental problem with this franchise, which is an underlining commercial motivation, and number two, which really leads them to not being willing to take any risks. That's the problem with this franchise. Now, first off, a lot of people, I know I'm going to get comments, people saying, "Dude, that's why they make movies, to make money. Stop giving them such a hard time." That's true. That obviously not very many movies would get made. Maybe no movies would get made if they didn't think they could make some money off of it. That being said, I'd say most movies, certainly I think all the really good ones, begin with some kind of a creative. That doesn't mean, oh, we don't care about money at all. I just mean it begins with somebody somewhere, as a director, a screenwriter, somebody going, "Huh, there's an interesting idea. Let's try that and see how it works." Let's rewind to 1993. I want to talk about Lord of the Rings. And usually I tell people, "Oh, you can't compare anything to Lord of the Rings because it's just such a unique production, unique film in every way that you can't really compare a whole lot of movies to that." But it illustrates my point pretty well, so I'm going to go ahead and compare this to Lord of the Rings. Rewind to 1993. That's when Peter Jackson first started inquiring to the rights of Lord of the Rings, trying to figure out, who's got him. Can I do this? Started sort of getting ready and maybe thinking about story ideas and writing a treatment, that kind of thing. 1993. At this point, there's no Harry Potter. At this point, there's no reason to. I'm pretty sure the first Harry Potter book had not been written yet at that point. There's no reason to believe that fantasy movies are easy money. It's just Peter Jackson got inspired. He got an idea, Lord of the Rings. I think he read it in college. He got an idea. Here's how you can make it into a movie. He took a risk. He brings his vision to New Line Cinema. They must have, I don't know what he did exactly, but they must have believed in his vision for Lord of the Rings enough to greenlight 3 giant, hugely expensive movies that were just different and groundbreaking and ambitious. Different kinds of movies without ever knowing if the first one was going to be a hit. We now know that if Lord of the Rings had not been as successful as it was, New Line Cinema would have gone into bankruptcy. Like they bet their entire company on the Lord of the Rings. They must have really believed in what he had to say. Now, Peter Jackson did not dumb Lord of the Rings down and turn it. It would have been easy to do that, make it 2 hours and much simpler and more conventional, and rob it a lot of its depth and make it a lot more, easier to connect with, I guess. But he didn't do that. He really, for the most part, stayed true to what makes the book different and special. Not 100%, but definitely people walked out of Lord of the Rings and it's like, wow, I've never seen anything like that before. It was special. It was different, But when you make something different, there's always the chance that no one's going to get it, that no one's going to like it, because it's the fact that it's different means it's untested. You're taking a risk. Peter Jackson took a risk on Lord of the Rings because he believed in the book enough to try something different, and New Line Cinema believed in that vision enough to let him do it. There's a lot of credit to both of them. Walden Media, really Walden, Fox, Disney, it's really everyone in the production. I'm going to be saying Walden a lot, but really everyone is sort of to blame for this. I don't think that's what happened with Narnia. Narnia, what happened was they saw that Lord of the Rings was a hit, and that Harry Potter was a hit, and they went, we got to make the market wants fantasy. We got to fill the market with fantasy. There's money to be made here. Let's do it. This is why it's not that surprising that the first three movies have not done what Peter Jackson did, which is try something different that's never been done before. Instead, they have tried to take very special, unique books and adapt them into not terribly special movies. I'm not saying they're bad movies. I think 1 and 2, I think they're pretty good movies, but it's nothing special. It's not nothing I haven't seen before or anything. It doesn't really stand out in my mind as anything unique or memorable. I guess Dawn Treader is memorably bad. But I'm just saying that they're not taking any risks. They're not trying to do anything different. They're trying to take unique stories and adapt them into more conventional movies, safer movies. Now, Walden Media, I think there's a lot of great people at Walden who really do genuinely love the books and probably genuinely understand the books too. And they genuinely want to make good adaptations and good films until that involves taking a financial risk. Now it's like, oh, never mind, change it up. Let's do something a little safer. Like Dawn Treader. The Dawn Treader book doesn't have a villain. There doesn't have any kind of imminent threat that they're trying to save Narnia from or anything. C.S. Lewis found other ways to make it compelling, and that's one of the things that makes the book Dawn Treader stand out in my mind. Is wow, I had never seen another book do that so effectively. Find so many other ways to keep you involved in the story and the characters and the emotion. And sure enough, they make the movie and they just resort to all the easy stuff that Lewis avoided. Oh, just add a green mist, some kind of villain. Let's just add some kind of imminent threat to Narnia. Oh, let's add some action scenes. All the things Lewis avoided. So take a special, unique book, adapt it into, not terribly special movie. Seen that before. And this is why I think the series is kind of doomed to never really be great. Origin and Caspian, they're good movies. Again, nothing special. I like them, but then Dawn Treader is just atrocious. But Walden Media is not willing to take a risk. They simply do not respect the books enough to want to take a risk on them. So turning to The Magician's Nephew, which is not a conventional fantasy story. Certainly does not really have the ingredients for a conventional fantasy movie. This is an emotionally driven character drama. There's not really any action in this. This is not an action story at all. What we've seen in the first three films is them looking for opportunities to try to add action wherever they can, because most fantasy movies are also action films. Making a fantasy movie that wasn't an action film, guess what? That's risky. That might be different than anything we've ever seen before. And I don't think Walden Media has the guts to do that, unfortunately. And so I think you can see why I don't really have a good feeling about The Magician's Nephew. I'm not just saying action scenes. That's certainly part of it. I think they'll find other ways to ruin it too. It's just this general idea of we have to take special books and adapt them into very safe movies. And that's why I'm not at all feeling good about a Magician's Nephew film. Now, sort of to close out my thoughts here, I'm going to address Walden Media directly. Walden, Fox, Disney, whoever. I'm talking to you. You have been given the honor, the privilege, the responsibility of adapting the Chronicles of Narnia into movies. These books have been around for over 50 years. They're special. There's a reason they've lasted that long. If you're not willing to take a risk, if you're not willing to try to honor the spirit of these books, even if that means taking a risk, doing something different, if you're not willing to do that, then you simply don't deserve the honor of being the ones that are adapting these in the movies. If you don't have the courage to do that, then why are you making these? You don't deserve it. I'm sure that there's got to be someone else out there who's willing to do that. So I challenge you, filmmakers, try something different. This is a special book. Don't turn it into just an ordinary film. Make it a different kind of film. The money that you're going to make off this franchise is short term. 50 years, no one's going to remember you made that money. No one's really going to care. The books, on the other hand, have been around for over 50 years, and they're going to be around for another 50 years. They're special. They're different. This book talks about things that are bigger and more important than any amount of money that you're ever going to make. There's lasting stuff in here, concepts and ideas that mean something. Put things in perspective. If you're not willing to acknowledge that on some level and then translate that into action, you don't deserve to be the ones making these movies. That clearly the books are in the hands of people who I guess maybe understand them, maybe like them, but aren't willing to take a risk on them, do something special with them. So as I've kind of said before, at this point, I don't want them to make any more Narnia movies because Walden Media has not demonstrated that they have the courage to do it. I'm just tired of seeing these books that are so special being turned into just nothing that special. So I'm challenging you, Walden Media, try it once. Please surprise me. Put your money where your mouth is. I've had a number of discussions with people who actually like the Voyage of the Dawn Treader movie, and they'll say, "What? How could you not like it? Read this interview here. You see, look, they got it." Interviews are great, but if you're not going to put your money where your mouth is, they don't mean anything. Walden, I want to see you put your money where your mouth is and make a different kind of movie. This is a different kind of book. Make a different kind of movie. But I don't think you're going to do it. I hope I'm surprised. So that's why I would prefer they not make another Narnia movie. So either way, whatever they do, I still plan on doing videos about the Magician's Nephew as we start anticipating it. There's no word on when a release date might be. As far as we know, there's no script or anything like that. Just kind of waiting for someone to come along and announce. It seems like they're in the very, 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 very early stages of it. So it'll probably be at least a few years before we see it. But on to another stage, another Narnia movie. At least I think it probably will get made, maybe for a lower budget. So we'll see what happens. Further up and further in.